As a social scientist, one is bound to react to what was just said. I mean, the notion that the ideas of a state of nature which is subject to causal relations must apply as much to the human relationships and human behavior as it does to the particle physics. And I think that what makes a lot of this discussion rather peculiar to me as a social scientist, what's being talked about, is that the picture of science is so limited to physical phenomena and is not being allowed to include human relationships, psychology, economics, or anything else, where there has been a lot of success in establishing causality. And I think, you know, there's an element of the God of the gaps coming in here, certainly in what was said just now, that human experience is, insofar as it concerns love or human relationships, is inexplicable. I think that that's not an acceptable statement to social scientists.
I don't think we're suggesting that you can't explore any aspects of human experience by means of social science, but I mean, it depends on which way you want to take your suggestion, if I may, that human relationships are as much subject to causality as particle physics. That might be true if you took the view that particle physics was in fact very non-deterministic, and although you can make probabilistic understandings about how the measurements are going to come out, you can never know it with certainty. But surely one of the most fundamental aspects of living systems in general, complex living systems in particular, and human living systems most of all, is that because of the multiple ways in which the higher levels interact with the lower levels, and because of the multiple ways in which all kinds of genuine uncertainty exists, you can examine this stuff scientifically from a statistical perspective, but you can never imagine that any laws you discover are going to be of the form F equals ma, where you can predict with certainty what's going to happen. And I think as we come into a 21st century understanding that science isn't a bunch of piece of clockwork, then yes, surely social sciences have an enormous amount to say, but we mustn't imagine that however successful they are, they're going to be reducing people into some kind of machines.
Can I just say, I think that a very underexplored and very important frontier between theology and other forms of human knowledge is the frontier with the social sciences, and more work needs to be done in that area.